Ladies and gentlemen, it's a big, weird, wild world out there, folks, and here we stand. Al pie del cañón, ready for anything. I'm Rob, that's Dan, and you're listening to...
The ProBoh Show!
Good morning, everyone. It's Jueves. No, it's not. What day is it today?
Today is Wednesday.
Oh, God. It's the worst, isn't it, when that happens? Not when you make a mistake on the radio. That's a daily occurrence. When you think you're more advanced in the week than you are. Mwah, mwah, mwah. It's Wednesday. Your least favorite day of the week, Dan.
Yes.
Rapidly becoming my least favorite too. How are you doing in there, dude?
I'm doing well.
Yeah, good.
And you?
Yeah, I'm okay. Other than mixing up the day, I'm fine. It's the 17th of June, friends. You're listening live. That was not evident. If this was just a podcast, I would be deleting that section. But I'm doing okay. Thank you for asking, Dan. How are you coping with the heat? Are you sleeping well? No, yeah.
No.
I've recently moved the big fan I have in my living room to my bedroom. And I think I'm getting a cold now. It's unbelievable, dude. Anyway, let's move rapidly on and pay attention to some of the most important people in radio, I would consider. Who? Well, it's you, friends. Especially you guys who are joining me live on twitch.tv/professional bohemian. twitch.tv/bohemio profesional, pero en inglés. You can join us live there, participate in the show. Oh, Dan, you know what I think I've done? Oh, Dan, I think I've left my phone in the in the room. I'm sorry, dude. Oh, poor Dan. This is when poor fella has to come in and give me my phone. Yeah, that's where you join us. Twitch.tv/professional bohemian. You can offer your opinions, thoughts on today's content and be a contributor. That's why you're the most important people to the show. Thank you, Daniel. Oh, man. See? We don't pay that guy enough. He's the best. Thank you, Dan. That's his punishment for not being here on Friday. How about that? So let's see who's joining us today. We have Eugene from Russia who says, hi, guys. Hi, Eugene. Vero's here. Good morning, beautiful bohemians around the universe and beyond. The Bridge is here. She says, good morning, my beautiful Bonnie Bouncy Bohemians. Bonnie Bouncy Bob and darling dashing dandy Dan. I'm horizontal. Como no? Yeah, God, I wish I was horizontal right now. We have Mike here as well. He says, good morning, dear Bohemians. Look, the gang's all here. If you want to be as cool, as sexy, as charming, as intellectual, as influential as these people, you join us live, twitch.tv/professional bohemian. Of course, you can always interact with the show outside of our lifetimes. You do that on my Instagram, which is @professional bohemian, or alternatively, if you're extra specially cool, sexy and charming, you join me on my Patreon, where you get a lot of additional content. All right, thank you, Dan. I don't deserve you. As people always remind me, you're so mean to him and he's so good. Yeah, he is. He's all right. Can't let him know that, though. Anyway, should we get into some news? I think we probably should. Oh, depressing news. Dan, where do you learn about the news?
On my mobile phone, on social media.
On social media, of course you do. All these years, Dan, year and a half, and you're still getting your news from social media. I'm not disappointed. I'm not angry, Dan. Just disappointed. So why am I talking about social media and news? Trust in news hits a new low. Research suggests. La confianza en las noticias alcanza un nuevo mínimo, según una investigación. I'm talking about the Reuters Institute. They do a track. They keep track of, or at least they have since 2015, people's trust in the news. Here's what blows my mind. The people who don't trust the news are the kind of people who scream, Michelle Obama is a man. And then I try my hardest. Look, I'm going to be honest with you. I try my hardest to remain patient and say, look, it's not their fault. They're indoctrinated, propagandized by bot farms. They don't know any better. Anyone can be propagandized. But then I read things like this and it immediately puts my heckles up. I get angry. Because instead of trusting news outlets, or at least reputable ones, Associated Press, Reuters, the BBC, even though it's taken on a bit of a right-wing leaning of late, instead of trusting those news outlets, they'd rather believe alternative sources, alternative truths. Anyway, trust in the news has fallen to its lowest level since the Reuters Institute began tracking it in 2015, with global trust now standing at just 37%. Oh. Wait, do you trust the news when you read the news, Dan?
No.
What sources do you trust the least?
The least?
Yeah.
Twitter.
Yeah, okay. Good for you, my friend. No, but is there a particular website? No, you don't. You get everything from social media. You know what I've often thought of doing? If I had enough time, I would put together a news channel myself. Just news, fact-checked, dry recounting of the news. I would love that because the world needs it. It already exists, by the way. If you don't know of TLDR News, it's very good. Young people bringing fact-based, dry news. No opinion, no nonsense, just the news. It's a YouTube channel, TLDR News. I do highly recommend it. Anyway, so global trust in the news down to just 37%. In the UK, trust has dropped to 30%, down 5 points from last year and 20 points lower than a decade ago. Why do you think that is, Dan? Why do you think people don't trust the news anymore?
There are several reasons. First of all, it's hard to believe everything you read.
Yeah.
There are so many surreal things. AI and...
Yeah, nowadays AI has exacerbated things, I think. Yeah, you're right about that. Oh, Dan, give yourself a ProBoh approved. Look at that. AI wasn't around.
ProBoh approved.
Yeah, AI wasn't around 10 years ago. That's a good one. I would say a lot of nonsense on social media as well. Bot farms, Russian propaganda. There are people in the UK. Did you know the UK Prime Minister's house was nearly burned down? The two people were caught, right? And it was found that they were being handled by, they were essentially Russian assets being handled by someone, a Kremlin kind of stooge. The conspiracy theory was that these were two male prostitutes that Keir Starmer hadn't paid, and that's why they burnt his house down. And that pernicious lie it's number one, it's homophobic. Number two, it's just plain false. And even now, the truth has been revealed. So pernicious, so malevolent is the nature of conspiracy theorizing, and the lack of trust in the news. People just think people think that the facts are a lie. So obfuscated is our view of current events. It makes me so sad. So sad. Because, of course, you're around people who believe in these conspiracies, who bandy around, these vox pop kind of soundbite things. Two-tier Kia. I'm going to stay with UK politics, given that I've brought it up. Two-tier policing, two-tier Kia. And you can hear, as soon as they say things like that, like two-tier Kia, woke, great replacement theory, you just know these people are beyond help at this point. They have been so indoctrinated by some online bot farming, malicious spreading of nonsense that there is no help for them. What do you do? I mean, my solution, I think, is just to stay friendly and keep talking, The report suggests many people feel anxious, disengaged, and cynical about how major news stories such as immigration, inflation, and international conflict are being covered, even though demand for news itself remains strong. If we're going to stay in the UK, we might as well. I'll stay away from America for a while. If we're going to stay in the UK, likely reform headed by Nigel Farage, modern day Oswald Mosley, is likely, it looks increasingly more likely he's going to end up being the next Prime Minister of the UK. A man who a man who promises to stop the small boats. Under Labour, immigration is at its lowest numbers in years. Doesn't matter, because the lies are more powerful, aren't they? At the same time, the way people consume news is changing fast. More than half of the respondents now get news through third-party platforms like social media and video networks, while online news video has become mainstream, with 77% consuming it weekly. Even so, trust in social media news is much lower at 22%, and confidence in AI chatbots is only 20%. Despite growing use among younger audiences, the findings suggest that people still want news, but they increasingly want it to be more accessible, clearer, and even more relevant to their daily lives. I don't know what it is, man. Do people disengage because it's just so depressing? I mean, let's be honest, the state of the world is depressing. You've got an authoritarian in charge of one of the world's biggest superpowers right now, watching men fight like a gladiatorial combat in front of the White House. Dude, I mean, you laugh. I mean, it's hilarious. It is funny, Dan. It is funny. It would be funnier.
It's surreal.
It's surreal. It'd be funnier 10 years from now when normality has returned. Looking back, it will be funny. Right now, I'm just gobsmacked by what's happening out there. Pouring bleach right now into the reflecting pool in Washington because his recent attempts to clean up the reflecting pool in Washington, D.C. have failed, and now it's covered in algae. Pour bleach in there. There you go. Done. Donald Trump for the win. Oh, Mike here says, too much clickbait and bias are also to blame. Yeah, I mean, yeah, look, Mike puts up a valid point. The news institutions themselves are to blame. When their payment model depends on getting eyes. Like they are rewarded for attention, not for veracity. That is the problem, isn't it? That has to be one of the problems. You were rewarded financially for the amount of attention you get, the amount of eyes, the amount of time a person will spend on the page, the amount of click-throughs you get. You're rewarded financially for that. You're not rewarded for telling the truth or remaining unbiased. Then what happens? Well, of course, our attention is dragged and drawn by these bias media outlets, and not to, reliable reporting like Reuters, Associated Press. It's infuriating. It's infuriating. I mean, who's to blame? Is it the press? Is it the media? I would, again, I keep on harping on about this, but I think social media is to blame. They set up this model, this attention economy. Sorry, look at me, getting grumpy again. So yeah, it is a worry. What do we do? That's my question to you, dear listeners. What do we do to increase trust in the news? Can we trust the news anymore? I think we can. I mean, this piece of news is from the BBC, referencing a Reuters article. How about we find, or we do our best to find news sources that are reliable. I mean, that's certainly what I try and do. But look, does everybody else out there have as much time as me? I mean, I'm not blessed with an infinite amount of time, but I do spend the first hour of every morning trawling news to bring you interesting stories. Maybe, perhaps you don't have that time to dedicate. And who's to be blamed for that? Well, no one, I suppose. Or ourselves. How do we prioritize news when we think it's consistently lying to us? When there are demons in our ears whispering lies that we are almost we find it incredibly difficult not to believe, right? Look at what happened during COVID. I mean, COVID was cataclysmic in our trust for scientists and experts. All of a sudden, they were the enemy, weren't they? Oh my God, no, they're putting chips in the vaccine. Oh, do me a favor, will you? Do me a favor. Anyway, I know I'm going to get messages about this little monologue. You can send all your complaints to nobodycares@groupofone.com. That's where we file them. All right, let's go into today's unpopular opinion.
Unpopular opinion.
Anyway, Dan. Do you know what I think it is? You know what I think it is, Dan? I think we've become so indoctrinated in our ideas and our beliefs. Something you've heard me repeat non-stop on this show is, what's the point in having a mind if you can't change it? Right? One of the most beautiful gifts we've been given is the idea we can look at the facts and change our ideas accordingly. But so convinced are we individually that we're in possession of the truth that when we hear something that goes in counter to it, we act as if it's a violent attack. And I think dry recounting of facts now have become painful to a lot of people. Anyway, what's today's unpopular opinion? Well, let's get into it, shall we? Today's unpopular opinion, we're talking about love, romance, dating, I guess. Today's unpopular opinion is one-night stands are harmful. What's a one-night stand, Dan, do you know?
Rollo de una noche.
Rollo de una noche, well done. O los encuentros de una sola noche. Yeah, rollo de una noche, one-night stand. One-night stands are harmful. Los encuentros de una sola noche son perjudiciales. Are they harmful? How do you think they voted on Instagram, Dan?
I think they voted true.
You think they voted true? They actually did. I do sound a little bit surprised there, don't I? But they actually did vote true. What do you think? What's your take on this one?
I think it's true as well.
You think it's true as well? 62% of people said true. But we're living in a disposable society, aren't we, Dan? You know? And let's be fair, it is some of the most fun you can have with your clothes off. But are they really harmful? Harmful in what way? To we as individuals, to society in general? I think we may need to define what harm means here. I imagine, Dan, at your tender age and being in, if you already have a partner, they are. If you already have a partner, they are, says Dan. Yeah, they are. I actually was speaking to Sophie about this. She's in the true column as well. She thinks true. Have you ever had a one-night stand, Dan?
No.
Okay. I mean, I will throw my hands up in the air and say I have, of course. I was young once too. Did they harm me in any way? I think I may leave that information for later on in the show, but it is all the same an interesting topic, given that 62% of people polled voted true today. So let's get into the pro column, shall we, and see what their ideas are and why they are often harmful. They can create emotional mismatch. One person may see the encounter as purely physical, while the other develops emotional expectations, leading to disappointment or hurt. Yeah, I guess that could happen. But in my experience, a one-night stand is usually understood by both people to be a temporary situation. I mean, if you're leading someone to believe that there is a relationship at the end of the evening, then that makes you an asshole. That's not particularly the fault of the one-night stand, is it? That's poor communication, or let's be honest with what it actually is, it's lying, isn't it? You're just a liar. Clear communication, mutual expectations reduce that risk to zero. They can encourage treating people as disposable. Critics argue that one-night stands can reduce intimacy to consumption, where people are valued primarily for immediate gratification. Okay, look, I mean, a brief encounter doesn't automatically mean a lack of respect or lack of humanity. Just a desire for connection, perhaps. Or a desire for intimacy. I mean, critics argue one-night stands can reduce intimacy to consumption. They encourage people to be treated as disposable. Have you seen dating websites where you're encouraged to treat yourself like a product catalogue? I mean, society in general is teaching us that we're all disposable, isn't it? We're all a swipe away from disappearing from people's lives. You're going to blame one-night stands when the system is set up that way? Increased risk of regret, alcohol, loneliness, impulsivity, or social pressure can lead people to make choices they later wish they hadn't. Yeah, look, many people regret long-term relationships too. Regret doesn't prove anything. I know a lot of people who regret being married. We're not talking about dissolving the institution of marriage, are we? And we are presupposing that the consequence of every one-night stand is regret. And quite often, it's not, is it? It's an uncomfortable taxi ride home and then laughing with your girlfriends. You know? I say girlfriends because I was in a situation when I was on the dating apps many years ago, like 6-7 years ago. There was a girl that I really liked, and I thought it was going to develop into a relationship, and it didn't. In the end, it ended up being a one-night stand, and I was the one there going, "Hang on, what happened? I like this girl." So yeah, it's not. I know we want to paint this as when we're talking about one-night stands. I don't want this to be defined along gender lines, because I think women can enjoy sex just as much as men. You know. And again, I'm talking here about clear communication. A one-night stand doesn't have to be a negative experience, does it? Or does it? Is it inherently harmful? Potential emotional consequences. Some individuals discover that casual sex leaves them feeling empty, disconnected, or used. Not to be gross here, but those experiences can vary enormously from person to person. Yeah, if you're listening in the car with your mum and dad, do not make eye contact. Health and safety risks. Casual encounters can increase the risk of sexually transmitted infections and unsafe situations. Again, shouldn't we all be responsible? Is this a problem of education? Responsible behavior protection, regular screening. My health experts can reduce all of these risks. It can become avoidance strategy. Sometimes casual sex is used to avoid vulnerability, commitment, or dealing with deeper emotional needs. You can say the same thing about chat rooms and you know, chatting to ChatGPT or video games. I mean, yeah, casual sex can also be a conscious preference rather than a defense mechanism. I have friends. I mean, I am in a relationship, but I have friends, and you've heard Andrea even talk about this, who they want a relationship, but they do want some kind of human connection. All right, let's get into the cons now, where I believe it was only 38% of people voted today, saying one-night stands are not inherently harmful. Consenting adults can define their own relationships. Not every sexual encounter needs to lead to romance, commitment, or emotional attachment. Yeah. I mean, ideally, I think it does, doesn't it? I mean, look, at least my sexual encounters have always been more gratifying. I felt more close, more connected when it's been part of a relationship. And let me be frank, at my age, even the idea of going out is horrifying, let alone a one-night stand. I mean, I'm not saying here, I'm not trying to diminish the importance of lovemaking in a relationship. I'm just trying to say, hey, if you choose another road, that's fine by me. Sex and love are not the same thing. Many people are capable of separating physical intimacy from long-term emotional commitment. And I get it. Maybe you can. I don't think I can either, to be fair. I'm not that kind of a one-night stand person. I don't enjoy it. I don't enjoy the idea. I think I prefer sex when it's in the context of a relationship. But many people can. Does that mean I have to make the rules? I don't think so. They can be enjoyable and empowering. For some people, casual sex is a positive expression of autonomy, desire, and personal freedom. I mean, to play devil's advocate, enjoyment doesn't necessarily mean a positive long-term impact, does it? Just because something's enjoyable. Cake is enjoyable, but if you eat nothing but cake, you're going to have some serious health injuries. The stigma may be more harmful than the act. Shame and social judgment often create more distress than the encounter itself. True story. How judgy are you when you see your friend roll back into the apartment early in the morning in last night's clothes? Finally, we'll leave off with this one. People have different emotional needs. What feels harmful for one person may feel perfectly healthy for another. All right, guys, I'm going to post a poll in the chat, and you will tell me on Instagram. When I said that one-night stands are harmful, they said true, but I want to know what you guys have to say here. Los encuentros de una sola noche, los rollos de una noche son perjudiciales. They are harmful. True or false? All right, guys, I will post the poll. I will leave you for 4 minutes, and when we get back, we'll read all your comments in the chat. See you soon, friends. Hey, guys, if you'd like to support the show, you can do so on Patreon. That's patreon.com/professional bohemian. There you'll find VODs of the episodes as they are recorded live, blogs, vlogs, and behind-the-scenes content. If you'd like to watch the show live, you can do so on twitch.tv/professional bohemian, and you can participate in the polls we use in the show on Instagram @professional bohemian or Twitter @ProBoh, ProBoh. Okay, on with the show. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. It's 9 a.m. Central European Time, and you're joining me and Dan live. A lot of you in the chat right now. Only a few of you talking, though. Come on. We're up to 17 right now in the chat. And like 5 of you chatting along. But either way, very good morning and welcome. All right, what did you miss if you just tuned in? We only got through one piece of news today because I started monologuing and getting grumpy. Trust in the news, according to the Reuters Institute, is now the lowest since tracking began in 2015, 11 years ago. Global trust now standing at 37%. Sad. It's sad. I mean, it's a consequence. Again, is it a consequence of digital platforms? I don't know. I don't know. It's just we no longer trust the gatekeepers, do we? And I don't know what the solution is, if I'm honest with you. I wish I did, because I would fight for that solution, but I don't know what the solution is. And I think it's of vital importance in any democracy that we, the electorate, are well informed. And if we don't trust the news, then we are not well informed. So how can we be trusted to make good decisions? That's it. Just lay it out for you right there. We need to be well informed to make good political decisions. And look what's happening throughout the world. There are cage fights in the White House. Anyway, let's continue on, shall we, before I get grumpy and start monologuing again. Then we moved on to today's unpopular opinion, which is one-night stands are harmful. Los rollos de una noche son perjudiciales. Harmful. True or false? Harmful to who? First of all, right? Harmful to who? To society? To individuals? To society, how? In what way? Does it diminish? How we treat each other? Does it make us all feel disposable? I would say there are 100 things in society right now that make us feel disposable. The job market, for one. AI affects how important we are to one another. How quickly we are to replace professionals with a chatbot. You know, dating websites, treating each other as disposable, quite literally, just a swipe to get rid of someone. I think there are tons of ways that make us feel disposable that have nothing to do with one-night stands. I mean, the platforms themselves even know this because a short-term relationship is right there, isn't it? As an option in a lot of these things. But so harmful to who? Society, I would say not. To individuals? Well, one person could develop feelings. Well, look, I'm like that. I don't think I can separate sex from emotion. I'm not a person who can do that. So guess what? I don't have one-night stands. Oh my God. The shock. But some people can. Some people can separate emotion from sex. Are you the kind of person, Dan, that can separate emotions from sex?
I guess so, yes.
You can. Well, I can't. So I don't have one night stands. You, Dan, you live your best life. You know, just because I can't do something doesn't mean that other people can. I think that we experience that bias, a lot of us, right? Well, if it's not true for me, if I can't do it, then no one can do it. They can. I know people who are involved in polyamorous relationships who, you know, sex is merely just an act, a fun act, rather than a slice of emotional investment. I know people who are like that, and I'm not, but kudos to you. Harmful how? I mean, if the terrain is clear and the communication is clear, look, this is just a one-night thing, right? Yeah, of course it is. Well, fine. Have at it. Have fun. Have your fun. You're not hurting anyone. You're not hurting me, for sure. So where is the harm? Where is the harm? That's the question. Anyway, so let's dig in. Of course, it was 62%. That fluctuated a little bit through the break, but it's back to 62% said true, they are harmful. I'm yet to see the harm, but here we go. I'm hopefully going to be enlightened right now by our friends in the chat. A big good morning to Rossa, Pumpkins, and Carmen, who have jumped into the chat as well to take part in the debate. Let's see. Good morning, guys. I've missed you, says Rossa. We've missed you too. Greetings, says Lord Pumpkins. Welcome, welcome. Good morning, dear Bohemians, says Carmen. Vero says true. One-night stands can be fun at the beginning, but in the long run, they can bring bigger problems. Here's the thing, though. Isn't the identifier of a one-night stand that there is nothing after the beginning? There is no long run? Right? Or are you talking about engaging in one-night stands, one after another, after another, after another? Well, maybe I can agree with you there. But the idea of a one-night stand is, I think, to avoid the emotional attachment, right? Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna stand here from any point of, you know, I have engaged in one-night stands when I was younger. It took me a few years to realize that it's not my thing. I mean, I suppose if you serially get involved in one-night stands, it could shift your perspective, perhaps cause some kind of psychological issue. I don't know quite what, though, if I'm honest with you. Carmen says, harmful is a strong moral judgment. I cannot disagree more, as I disagree with the Catholic nuns with whom I was educated at school. Harmful is a strong moral judgment. I don't know. I think it's a useful vehicle for the debate, isn't it? I mean, look, we might think harmful, or, yeah, this is from Carmen, might think it's harmful or a strong moral judgment, but on Instagram, 62% of people said, yeah, it is harmful. And that's exactly why we're talking about this, right? To find out where that harm is. Let's see. Rossa says, true, it can be harmful if one person gets more emotionally attached than the other. There's no way to guarantee that won't happen. No, but there are ways to mitigate it from happening. No, Rossa? For example, like clear communication before anything takes place. Like, look, I'm not in the market for a relationship here. I hope you understand that kind of thing. And I know those conversations go on because, you know, I've seen it play out with my own eyes. I think there is a tendency there. Like when I was with that experience like 7 years ago, or maybe more, maybe less, with that girl that I liked, and it ended up being a one-night stand. To be fair, we didn't have that conversation. That's why I was confused. And in the end, you know, she let me know, look, I wasn't in the market for anything long term. Okay, fine. Right, fine. And I was a little bit perturbed and upset. Why am I not relationship material for this girl? Wah. But then, you know, cooler heads prevailed. So I guess I can agree that maybe the hurt feelings, it hurt my feelings when it happened on that occasion, but then when I was much younger and I was engaged in one-night stands with other people, other like-minded people, you know, there were no feelings hurt. I mean, at least on my side of the table. Are they harmful? harmful. Do you still think they're harmful, Dan, after everything we've been speaking about?
I guess if it's done continuously in a long term, maybe. But just one day, no.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, what would be the harm of repeatedly and consecutively engaging in one-night stands?
Considering people as objects.
Yeah. I think maybe that's where the tag, that label harmful, might come into it, right? A twisted perspective of what human encounters should be. I mean, who's to say that we should be looking for relationships? I mean, I know I want to be in one, so I am. Yeah, but then again, I'm not that kind of person that has to lean into society's expectations of me. I very much march to the beat of my own drum. And when I didn't want to be in a relationship, I wasn't, and now I do. I am. There you go. No more mystery to be had. Lord Pumpkin says, true, HIV. Look, yeah, wear a condom. Don't be a fool. Wrap your tool. There are ways to mitigate. There are ways to avoid sexually transmitted disease. Pumpkins. Eugene says false. If both people agree, that is okay. I'm kind of with Eugene on this one, I think. Thanks for that, Eugene. Mike says one-night stands while traveling solo can be a great experience. They're better than trying to fake a long-distance relationship later. Okay. Oh, wow, you guys are on fire here. Pumpkins, it also matters and depends on who you are and where you are. If you live in New York or London, then it wouldn't be that socially impacted. But if you live in a small village in India or China or some other place, then such an act would be looked down upon and social life will be harmful. And yeah, I mean, there is a cultural aspect to that as well. Pumpkins, that was from Pumpkins. I dare say in a small village in England, if you have a one-night stand, it's not going to be as perhaps socially flagged as something dangerous as in India or China, right? Mike says staying in a toxic relationship can be more harmful than enjoying a night with someone you're attracted to and leave it there. Whoa, let's get a ProBoh approved. That's a good one.
ProBoh approved.
Particularly like the staying in a toxic relationship can be more harmful than enjoying a night with someone you're attracted to. I guess Vero could have meant the psychological impact of not engaging emotionally with anybody, says Carmen. Yeah. I'm starting to see, Vero confirms that's exactly what she meant. Yeah, I'm starting to see that point of view. As always, you guys do a great job of educating me in certain things. Yeah, and that could be true. I guess if you're engaged in one-night stands over a long period of time, you start to get a bit of a warped perspective about, or a different, let's not say warped, I think that is doing a lot of load-bearing there. You'll get a different perspective on relationships. You cannot compromise your identity for desire, says Lord Pumpkins. Carmen, just because it's a one-night stand doesn't mean it can't lead to meaningful relationship afterwards. I think, Carmen, that expectation is where the harmful comes from. Because if the two people agree that it's a one-night thing, but one person has the expectation that it could possibly, even though we've had this conversation, lead to something, I think that's when feelings get hurt, Maybe not, I don't know. Rosa, you can talk about it beforehand and be on the same page, but feelings can still happen. Yeah, I'm one of those, Rosa, and that's why I don't engage in that kind of behavior anymore. Or in those kind of acts anymore, because I know that I will attach feelings to the act, Vero here is brilliant. One-night stands can bring surprises 9 months later. You said type and we obeyed, Rob. Your wish is our command. Yeah, you guys are amazing. Thank you, Carmen. Thank you, everybody. Some great comments here. I did get a few more on Instagram. Let's check those out real quick. Where are we? Sorry, I have to do a little scrolling. as per usual. Here we go. Marco says, I think they can be for some people. They can be harmful for some people. Not everyone separates physical intimacy from emotional attachment very easily. Yeah. Does that mean they are harmful in aggregate? No. I think they would be harmful for me because I would attach emotion to it because that's in my nature to do so. I can't really very well separate physical from emotional, especially sharing something so intimate. I know a lot of people can. Doesn't mean it's harmful for everyone, does it? I mean, I have to be the author of my own mental health. And because I know I can't do that, then hey, then no one night stands for Rob. Done. Sienna says, they're only harmful if people involved want different things and they aren't honest about it. But as we're learning here, Sienna, it's not always a matter of honesty. I think Rossa said this, and you know that feelings can just happen, and I guess that can happen, right? Feelings can just happen, or perhaps in the back of your mind you agree that it's just one night, but in your heart you're hoping for more, perhaps. Philip says, some people have bad experiences and assume that applies to everyone. It really depends on the individual. I think that's true too. Elodie Mercier says, I don't think they're inherently harmful. The context, expectations, and people involved matter much more. Yeah, interesting. Interesting stuff. Let's see. Yeah, I guess it could be good. We're going back to the audience now, Lord Pumpkins. But the dynamic impact of it is slightly awkward. I mean, it's awkward that a third party bursts into the room saying, why are you sleeping with my wife? Well, there we're talking about, that's Pumpkins. There we're talking about infidelity, which is a very different thing. I mean, one night stand doesn't necessarily mean that that there is any impropriety going on with relationships. Two single people just looking for a bit of physical intimacy, I guess. You know, Carmen says, how do we combine individualism with our need of belonging? Liquid Love is the title of a book that explains the problems by Zygmunt Bauman. Liquid Love. I mean, it does seem like the flow of water is in some way going in that direction. The increasing volume around polyamory and relationships that are a lot more fluid by nature. I mean, I know I'm not capable of that. I think I've always have been kind of a one-person man. Never cheated on a relationship partner. Never intend on doing so. You know, when I was younger, I was a little bit more sexually promiscuous, but that very quickly ended when I realized it wasn't my thing. But yeah, I mean, it seems to be the natural flow of water of things nowadays, doesn't it? Artemisa, I'm someone who likes to try new things as long as they don't seem to be harmful. I saw my friends having one-night stands and tried it. It's definitely not for me. I didn't feel comfortable expressing myself with someone I didn't know at all, and it ended up being a bad night. In my experience, it was kind of harmful to me. I guess, you know, it's one of those things that, you know, you try, and if it is for you, it's for you, and if it's not, it's not. Does it mean it's harmful? I mean, you can say the same thing about Marmite, can't you? You know, about tequila. Yeah. Is it harmful? Well, in the case of tequila, yes, it absolutely is. Marmite, is it harmful? No, it's just not to everyone's taste. Eesh. It's a tough one, isn't it, today? Okay, so did we shift your needle at all? You were very much a true on this one, Dan. Did we shift your needle at all?
Now I'm in the middle.
You know, I was very much a false, and I've been dragged a little bit to the middle today. A false, I think, because I don't think they're harmful, but I can see on individual cases, some people may be, I mean, harmed is a strong word, isn't it? They might have their feelings hurt, right? Yeah, but you know, I think I still am mainly in the false today. On Instagram, they said true that one night stands are harmful. 62%. No, it's changed. 57% true on Instagram. But what we care about are your ideas right here in the chat, guys. So let's see what you said. So I made the statement: Los rollos de una noche son perjudiciales. One-night stands are harmful. And you guys said 60% false. Yeah, I'll be happy with that. I mean, define harm. Harmful for society, I can name 1,000 things more harmful than sex. Harmful for the individual, I could probably name 1,000 things more harmful than a night in sexual congress. But all the same, we've read and seen examples of how and why it may be harmful, and those opinions are just as valid. Again, today, more than any other, you guys, a lot of you being involved in the chat. I really appreciate how respectful you are with one another, of course. This is a place where we all can express our opinions. 60% false, that's what you said. You know what Grandpa Bo would say? He'd say, guys, those are all just opinions, and opinions, they're like buttholes. We all have one, they all stink. Let's move on to today's 100 Humans. Oh my God. It was a long walk to work today across snow-capped mountains and through river valleys, and on that walk I encountered 100 humans and I asked them all a question. Today's question is, name the worst place to find a date. Nombra el peor lugar para intentar encontrar pareja. I asked them that question, they gave me their answers. I'm in possession of the top 7 answers right here. Your job in the audience is to identify those top 7 answers. All right, Dan, what do you think?
Medical institution.
What, like a...
Psychiatric.
like a psychiatric ward. You're very close. But it's not there, Dan. Wah, wah, wah. Oh. You just, in one answer, kind of summed up my relationship history, Dan. Thank you. All right. At the office, says Mike. At the office. Ouch. Is at the office there? In your workplace, right? In a lugar de trabajo. Dan, don't stop looking at me. Is at your workplace. Lugar de trabajo. Is that there? Yes, it is. 9 of 100 humans said at the workplace, lugar de trabajo. It is in 4th place. Artemisa says at a funeral. Funeral. Is a funeral there? Wasn't there a movie about that? 4 weddings and a funeral? I don't know. Is a funeral there? Yes, it is. Well done. And with 30 of 100 humans, it's the number 1 answer. I have a feeling I'm going to have to do quite a lot of prompting today. Let's see. A big thank you to Lau Sweden, Carlos, Arancha, Ivan Samrov, Ivan GP, Jesus Sol, Anakasan, MP Contel, 2 banging for you. I can't remember his name, our friend. And Carmen and many, many others for interacting on Instagram. Carlos says, in your ex's list. In your little black book. Yeah. Bad idea. Lau Sweden said a nightclub. A nightclub. Isn't that like where most people hook up nowadays? I don't know. I'm young. Nightclub. Is nightclub there? No, it's not. A burial, so a funeral, said Arancha. That is, of course, there. Ivan Samarov says Mercadona. At, a supermarket. Don't Mercadona do the date night things? Isn't it a pineapple or something they put in there?
Well, but it's not official.
It's not official. But you go around with a pineapple and people know you're
Yes,
available.
it was a trend.
Oh, jeez, Louise. Well, Mercadona is not there. The supermarket is not there. Sorry about that. There's a lot of interesting answers. Any alleyway? At your workplace, I see here. But that was Carmen. MP Contel, online and dating apps is Jesus Sol. Is online or on dating apps there? No, it's not. Pwah, pwah, pwah. Ivan GP says the cinema. Work says Anna Kasan. Well done, well done. Mia says Mia says in a public restroom. She says in a public bathroom. A public restroom. Un baño público. Is a public restroom there? Yes, it is. Well done. Well done, well done. It's there. 3 of 100 humans said that. It's in 7th place. In the audience, I see at the gym, on dating apps. Artemisa says at the doctor's or at hospital. In hospital. Is the doctors or in hospital there? Yes, it is. Well done, Artemisa. 16 of 100 humans said that's in 3rd place. A strip club is here. That was from Mike. A swingers club, says Carmen. All good answers. None of them there. We'll finish off here with Raj's answer, who says at church. I'm pretty sure it's one of the main reasons to go, isn't it? No, it is at church there. Iglesia. Yes, it is. Well done. Okay, there were 2 you were missing, so let's go through the list. I asked 100 humans to name the worst place to try and find a date. Nombra el peor lugar para intentar encontrar pareja. In position number 7, we had a public restroom, baño público. In position number 6, juzgado, a courtroom, juzgado. 4 of 100 humans said that. In position number 5, we had a church, iglesia. And my grandma would have loved it if I'd have met a woman at church. That would have been probably a number 1 hope for me. In position number 4, workplace, lugar de trabajo. They say that, don't they? In position number 3, hospital, hospital. 16 of 100 humans. In position number 2, you missed this one, prison, prisión. 20 of 100 humans. And finally, in position number 1, we had at a funeral. Funeral. Well done, guys. Just a little reminder, tomorrow will be our final show of the week. Dan has a medical appointment. I'll be around, so you may hear me popping into Fitz's show and the other shows that are around that afternoon. But the ProBoh Show itself won't be. We will have a lunchtime show that day, though, so don't worry about that. All right, friends, I'll be back tomorrow morning with more ProBoh Show. See you next time.